Hey, this is Jules, and I'm your host of The Jules J Show. Hey everyone, I'm your host Jules of The Jules J Show. Thanks for tuning in. I definitely want to direct everybody to the trackcats.com website. That way you can see everybody and everything that they're doing. You can see the Jules J Show, you can see all the different artists, and you can definitely check out DP, Doug Pittman. He's the producer, the mastermind behind a lot of the things that we do. So we definitely want to say thanks to DP and everything that he does and how he supports the entire trackcats.com family. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the topic today. And the reason why I picked this topic is because I read a story on Huffington Post, or an article. And the title of the article was, Americans feel strongly about how poor people should spend their food stamps. And this kind of stood out to me because, you know, we all go grocery shopping. There's plenty of times that we've seen people in front of us that have had 2, 3, 4 buggies, you know, and they seem to be buying all type of stuff. And, you know, people like me, I have to sit here and, you know, budget, clip coupons, you know, figure out what's on sale, kind of plan out my meals, figure out, you know, what items that I can buy that will stretch. Like I was telling somebody the other day, every time I go grocery shopping, I buy a bag of potatoes because you can do french fries, mashed potatoes, fried potatoes, baked potatoes, tater tots, whatever the case, hash browns in the morning time, whatever the case may be. That's the type of mindset that I have when I go grocery shopping, because I have to budget the money that I make. I don't get the extra assistance. I don't get the extra help when it comes to food and things like that. So I kind of have to make, you know, the meals that I have and the budget that I have stretch over, you know, a month's time, because I really only do grocery shopping at one huge time in the middle of the month. And then I try to, you know, of course you run out of milk and fresh food and things like that. But it did kind of catch me off guard that, you know, so many individuals are paying attention to what other people are purchasing. So I did a little research. And one of the things off of the article out of the Huffington Post that I read was that 54% of Americans think that people should not be allowed to use food stamps to buy expensive items or luxury items like crab legs. I get that, because at the same token, you know, all of our tax dollars are going into this huge pool for individuals who cannot afford to go food shopping and things like that, you know, with the money that they make, whether it's because they make, you know, minimum wage, or they have no income, or they're on a set, you know, Social Security income, things like that. You know, I feel some type of way. You know, at times you can call it whatever you want, but I feel some type of way when, you know, I see somebody in front of me and they have, you know, all these steaks and these crab legs and, you know, all these type of items, and then they just swipe their EBT card like it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Not only that, there's been plenty of times where I've seen people, I know of people that have sold food stamps to get the cash to go spend on whatever the case may be. So, you know, that kind of makes me feel some type of way, because all of us who are working are putting into that pool for individuals to use. Now, 32% said that they should be allowed to do whatever they want and purchase whatever they want, whatever type of food it is. It's their business because it's their benefits. You know, and then the question becomes, you know, even though it is their benefits, is it really that their money that they put into the pool? Or, you know, how long have they been out of work? Things like that. So all those things play a factor. And another thing that, you know, this article brought up was junk food. Should individuals that, you know, get the food stamp, or now they call SNAP assistance, should they be able to buy potato chips, you know, carbonated drinks like, you know, Pepsi, Coke, Sprite, things like that? You know, should they be able to buy the quick meals and things like that? So that becomes the issue too. What can they buy and what should they not buy? Things of that nature. Now, for you guys that don't know, the food stamp program was actually initiated in 1939, and it was basically to help out during the Great Depression. If you guys have not studied your history, that's one thing that you need to focus on, is the Great Depression and how it affected basically the entire world. But So, and that was just supposed to basically provide assistance for individuals that cannot make ends meet and things of that nature. And the SNAP program, which it is now called, has come a very, very, very long way. And it's taken some time for it to get there. The SNAP program is now Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's what SNAP calls for. And the key thing to this program is to be providing nutrition for individuals that can't normally or can't make ends meet or buy the food that they need to. And we all know that, food costs are going up. Fresh fruit costs a lot. Organic food costs a lot of money, things like that. So this is supposed to assist individuals that can't normally pay for it on their own. Now, and let's just be mindful. Let me read you something from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. This is where I pulled the information from. It's gross monthly. This is for individuals that are receiving food stamp. Gross monthly income generally must be at or below 130% of the poverty line, which is approximately $2,069 for a family of 3. Now, let me just do a quick recap of basically what the poverty line is. And I pulled this statistic, that word always gets me, from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Office of Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation. For 2013, poverty guidelines for the states and the District of Columbia is, for a household of 3, the poverty guideline is $19,530. For a family of 4, it's $23,550. I don't know anybody that can make ends meet off of that. Housing, food, transportation, clothing, childcare, things like that. So that poverty line is really, 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 really low. And think about it, minimum wage is only $7.25. So a lot of times people do not have the means to actually purchase food like they need to or want to, things of that nature. So they do fall on the assistance of the government. Now, with that, that's a very low number. And with us now coming out of the recession and things like that, during the recession, of course, the number of applicants, the number of cases, the number of recipients for the SNAP program increased dramatically. But we were on bad times, so we have to be mindful of that situation. In 2012, the SNAP program helped almost 47 million low-income Americans afford basically a nutritional diet. And once again, obviously our opinions of nutrition vary because some people's version of nutritional diet may not be mine. But it did help 47 million low income. So if it didn't help those 47 million, can you imagine what the starvation rate would be like? Can you imagine when I get hungry, I get mean. So can you just imagine how that's going to affect people? Just the whole, not only that, your health, your mental state, things like that. So 47 million people that it assisted. So the program does have its, reasons for being here, but it goes back to the question, are people abusing the system? Are the guidelines really, strict enough for individuals? There's some guidelines need to be implemented so that they are actually getting the nutritional value that you need. One thing that they're working on is actually being allowed or having people use the SNAP or the EBT card at farmers markets and things like that, where they get the fresh produce and things of that nature versus, just a bag of frozen veggies or things like that. There's nothing wrong with that because there's a quick and easy mail. But now with this, most unemployed childless adults are limited to 3 months of benefits in most of the country. Now, depending on what the unemployment rate in that area is, that can be negotiable, but that's on average. I feel if you are an adult, you don't have any kids, you are in, okay physical health, why aren't you working? Why aren't you out there being able to provide for yourself, things of that nature? I know a lot of it ties back into the unemployment rates and a lot of people are out of jobs, things like that. I get it. If you need SNAP benefits, great. I say use the benefits, but use them to the advantage. Be smart about the situation. Don't just abuse them just because they're there. And like I said, with a lot of people going, unemployed during the recession, people have to eat. They have to fall back on something. This number kind of threw me for a curve, though. I knew that the SNAP benefits were necessary. I knew that a lot of people were, utilizing them, things of that nature. But in the fiscal year 2012, the federal government spent about $81 billion on the SNAP program. $81 billion. And I put this comment out on Facebook, and, people said, who cares about the government spending $81 billion? We're spending a lot of different money different ways, as far as, we spend a lot of money on wars. We spend a lot of money in other countries, things like that. But still, this is a huge, huge number. $81 billion to feed Americans. And if you watch one of my previous shows about outsourcing and things like that, you know how I feel about bringing jobs back to America. So individuals don't have to rely on the federal government to provide the basic necessity of eating, of food. So $81 billion is a huge, huge number, and 92% went directly to benefits. 92% of that $81 billion went directly to benefits. The other portion, of course, you went to, your caseworkers, administration fees, things like that, just making sure the whole program runs smoothly. So just think about it. Majority of that $81 billion went straight to the benefits and to the recipients. So that is a huge, huge, huge number. And with the recession and things like that, the 2009 Recovery Act actually boosted the SNAP benefits to 13.6% up for all SNAP benefits. So keep in mind that $81 billion is a little inflated just because of the recession, and Congress had to act to implement some stuff just to make sure with the inflation and the rise of food and things like that, people are still being able to maintain and sustain their eating habits and their diets. So they had to increase those benefits slightly. Now that we're coming out of the recession and things like that, and unemployment rates are starting to drop, so will those benefits. Those benefits will decrease a little bit, but it's still a rather high number, and that's something that we all need to be mindful of. Actually, how high the number is. With that being said, it all goes back to, if you get these benefits, make them stretch. Learn how to plan. Learn how to shop with sales and on coupons and getting fresh food. Like I said, this program was implemented for a healthy lifestyle and healthy diet. We already know that we are the number 2 country on the obesity list. We already know that it's, all the health issues that come with a poor diet and things like that. And I don't want people to automatically assume that people that have food stamps are, not taking care of their selves, or not, educated people, things like that. People fall on hard times, so it's not fair for people to automatically judge and assume, just because they get food stamps, they're lazy individuals, or just because they get food stamps, they want to take advantage of the situation or the benefits, or just because they get food stamps, they're not trying to work, things like that. We don't know what their situation is. So is it really up to us, the individuals that are not receiving food stamps, determine what they can and cannot spend it on? I think to a certain degree, yes. I feel like since I'm a taxpayer, I should have input on how that whole thing is structured. If it's supposed to be for a nutritional diet, I think that they should, have workshops where people go and understand planning and meal cooking, and what ingredients to use and how to use the ingredients and how to make meals stretch and how to grocery shop on a budget and things like that. I think all that is very, very important. There's nothing wrong with splurging every now and then. We all want to splurge, but you have to kind of understand, you have mouths to feed, you have lunches and things like that you have to make to send the kids off with school. So you want to make sure that you're sending them with adequate, food and a well-balanced diet and a well-balanced meal. So we have to be very, very, very mindful of that. Like I said, the information that I pulled was from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, so you definitely can check their website out. They have a lot of different information that is very, insightful, and they can definitely assist us. You could go to www.snaptohealth.org. This website is really, really good because it has a lot of frequently asked questions. It tells about different nutrition plans. It tells you how to plan things out. It gives you kind of the history of the whole food stamp process and things like that. So definitely check out these websites to get a better understanding and, figure out how we're going to make this situation work for all Americans that are basically using this benefit. So once again, if you have any questions about any of the information that I presented, you can hit me up at julesj1878@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, things like that. I definitely want to hear your comments, questions, concerns about this topic as well as any other ones that you have in mind. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.